Marcus Webb had always been told his overconfidence would kill him someday. As his fighter spiraled through the atmosphere of an uncharted ice world, engines screaming and alarms blaring in every direction, he figured today might be that day. Not like this, he muttered through gritted teeth, wrestling with the controls. Not some random frozen rock in the middle of nowhere. The cockpit filled with smoke as another system failed. Through the viewport, he could see nothing but white endless snow, jagged mountains, and a sky the color of steel. His targeting computer was dead, navigation was gone, and his communication array had been fried in the ambush that sent him here. The impact came hard and fast. Metal shrieked, the world tumbled end over end, and then everything went black dot when Marcus opened his eyes. Cold was the first thing he felt. Not the controlled chill of his fighter's life support, but real, bone-deep cold that made his lungs ache with each breath. He was lying in snow, still strapped into his ejection seat, surrounded by the scattered debris of his ship. "Status check," he croaked, triggering his helmet's display. The readout flickered weakly. Suit integrity at 60%. Internal temperature dropping. Multiple lacerations. Possible fractured ribs. His ship's beacon was damaged beyond repair. Fantastic. Marcus unclipped his harness and forced himself to stand. Every muscle protested, but he'd survived worse. Probably. He couldn't quite remember when, but he was sure he had. The wreckage was spread across 100 meters of pristine snow. His fighter, what was left of it, had carved a burning, trench through the ice before finally coming to rest against a formation of black rock. Small fires still burned here and there, melting the snow around them. Marcus stumbled through the crash site, salvaging what he could with numb fingers. His survival pack was intact. Basic med kit, protein bars, multi-tool, and a plasma lighter. Not much to survive on an alien world, but it would have to do. The sky was already darkening, and with the fading light came a temperature drop that made his earlier discomfort feel like a warm bath. Marcus's military training kicked in despite his pounding headache. Shelter, warmth, signal in that order. He dragged pieces of his ship's interior paneling to create a crude windbreak, then gathered anything that might burn. The insulation from his cockpit, some local vegetation that looked dead enough to be dry, and various flammable components from the wreck. The plasma lighter sparked once, twice, and then caught. Flames leaped up, casting dancing shadows across the snow. Marcus crouched before the fire, extending his hands toward the heat, and felt something in his chest unclench slightly. He pulled out his damaged communication unit, studying it by firelight. If he could repair it, maybe his squadron would find him. Maybe he wouldn't die on this frozen ball of ice. His fingers worked methodically, trying to remember his engineering training through the fog of exhaustion and pain. The silence around him was absolute. No wind, no animal sounds, nothing but the crackle of his fire. It was peaceful in a haunting way, like the whole planet was holding its breath. That should have been his first warning. Marcus didn't notice when the natural sounds of the ice plains, subtle creaks, and distant groans went completely silent. He was too focused on reconnecting a crucial circuit in his communicator. It wasn't till he heard the soft crunch of snow behind him that his combat instincts screamed danger. His hand flew to the pistol at his hip as he spun around. Heart hammering, 3 figures stood at the edge of his firelight, and Marcus's mind struggled to process what he was seeing. They were humanoid, 2 arms, 2 legs, faces that were almost familiar but utterly alien. Their skin had a silvery white quality that seemed to shimmer in the firelight, and their eyes were pale, like ice reflecting moonlight. The one in front was female, he thought, though he wasn't entirely sure how he knew. She was tall and lean, with sharp features and white hair pulled back in an intricate braid. She wore fitted leather and fur that looked designed for movement rather than warmth, and she held a bow with an arrow already nocked. The two behind her were similarly dressed and armed, watching him with the same unervingly intense focus. Nobody moved. Marcus kept his hand on his weapon, but didn't draw it. The lead huntress, because that's what she had to be. With that bow and that predatory stance, tilted her head slightly, studying him like he was the most interesting thing she'd seen in years. Slowly, deliberately, she lowered her bow. Not putting it away, Marcus noted, just pointing it at the ground instead of his chest. It was a gesture, he realized. Not surrender, but curiosity? Well, Marcus said, his voice rough, I don't suppose you speak English? The huntress's eyes widened, slightly surprised, maybe. And then she took a step closer to the fire. The flames cast shifting shadows across her alien features, making her silver skin glow. Firebringer, she said, and Marcus nearly fell over in shock. Her voice was melodic but strange, the words shaped differently than any accent he'd heard. You fall from sky with flame and thunder. You do speak English, Marcus breathed. How? We learn many tongues, she replied, taking another step forward. Her companions remained at the edge of the light, watchful, but not immediately threatening. Traders come. Wanderers come. We listen. We remember. Her pale eyes fixed on him with unnerving intensity. You are alone? Very alone, Marcus admitted, seeing no point in lying. My ship was attacked. I crashed here. I didn't know this world was inhabited. I'm sorry for trespassing. The huntress studied him for a long moment, her gaze traveling from his face to his damaged suit to the wreckage behind him. Then she looked at the fire, and something flickered in her expression. Not quite a smile, but close. The storm comes soon, she said, gesturing toward the horizon. Marcus followed her gaze and saw dark clouds gathering, barely visible against the darkening sky. Big storm. Many die in big storm. She looked back at him. You come with us, or you stay and freeze. Choose. It wasn't much of a choice, really. Marcus looked at his pitiful camp, his damaged equipment, and the approaching weather. Then he looked at the three alien huntresses who had somehow found him in this frozen wasteland. I choose not freezing, he said, gathering his salvaged supplies with stiff fingers. The lead huntress made a sound that might have been approval. I am Isla, she said, touching her chest. First huntress of Silvari. You have name, Firebringer? Marcus, he replied, shouldering his pack. Marcus Webb, and I'm a pilot, not a Firebringer. Isla's lips curved slightly, definitely a smile this time, though it had a predatory edge that made his pulse quicken for reasons that had nothing to do with fear. We see what you are, Marcus Webb. Come, follow close. The frost does not forgive weakness. As Marcus followed Isla and her companions into the alien night, leaving his fire to die behind him, he couldn't shake two thoughts. First, that he'd just made either the best or worst decision of his life. And second, that the way Isla looked at him, intense, curious, almost possessive, suggested his problems were just beginning. The ice crunched beneath his boots, the wind began to howl, and Marcus stepped into the unknown with nothing but hope and the memory of silver skin glowing in firelight. The journey through the frozen wilderness tested every ounce of Marcus's endurance. His ribs screamed with each breath. His fingers had gone numb despite his thermal gloves. And keeping pace with the Silvari huntresses felt like trying to match stride with wolves. Isla moved through the snow with effortless grace, barely leaving footprints where Marcus floundered. She glanced back periodically, her pale eyes assessing him in the dim starlight, though she never slowed her pace. How much farther? Marcus gasped, hating how weak he sounded. Your kind tires quickly, one of the other huntresses observed. She was younger than Isla, with a mischievous glint in her ice-colored eyes. My kind usually travels in heated ships, Marcus shot back, then immediately regretted his tone. Antagonizing his rescuers wasn't smart. To his surprise, the young huntress laughed, sound like wind chimes in winter. He has fire in words too, sister. I like him, sister? Marcus studied the two more closely and saw the resemblance in their sharp cheekbones and the distinctive pattern of silver that traced along their skin like frost on glass. Neve. You like everyone, Isla said, but there was affection in her voice. Save your judgment for when he proves his worth. He survived the fall from stars, Neve countered. He made fire in the frost. That is worth something, yes? They crested a ridge, and Marcus forgot his exhaustion. Below them, nestled in a valley protected from the worst of the wind, sprawled a settlement that looked carved from winter itself. Structures of pale stone and ice rose from the snow, their surfaces covered in intricate patterns that caught the starlight. Steam vented from openings in the ground, and warm light glowed from windows. The heart of silver, Isla announced, pride evident in her voice. Home of the Silvari people. As they descended toward the village, Marcus noticed movement, dozens of figures emerging from dwellings, their silver skin gleaming in the darkness. Most were female, he realized, with only a handful of males visible among them. Your arrival will cause excitement, Neve said, moving closer to Marcus with undisguised curiosity. Males from beyond the frost are rare. Very rare. Rare and valuable, added the third huntress, speaking for the first time. Her voice was deeper, more cautious. Valuable how? Marcus asked, suddenly wary. Neve, Isla said sharply, cutting off whatever her sister was about to say. Take him to my dwelling. See that he has food and warmth. I must speak with the elders. But sister, now, Neve. The younger huntress pouted but obeyed, gesturing for Marcus to follow. As they walked through the settlement, Marcus became the center of intense attention. Silvari women of all ages gathered to watch him pass, whispering among themselves in their melodic language. Their gazes ranged from curious to calculating to something that made heat rise in his face, despite the cold. They're staring, Marcus muttered. Of course they stare, Neve said cheerfully. You are exotic, different, and male. She grinned at his discomfort. Do not worry. Sister claimed you first. They will not challenge her right of discovery. Right of what now? Discovery. She found you, so you are hers to protect. And perhaps, Neve's grin widened, to court, if she wishes. If you wish, Marcus's brain stuttered. Court? As in, here. Neve pulled aside a heavy fur curtain, revealing the entrance to one of the larger dwellings. Sister's home? Enter, warm yourself. I will bring food. Inside, the temperature was surprisingly comfortable. Furs covered the floor, and a central fire pit cast dancing light on walls, decorated with weapons and star charts that looked ancient. Marcus sank down beside the fire, finally allowing himself to feel the full weight of his exhaustion. Neve returned quickly with a tray laden with food. Marcus didn't recognize roasted meat, crystalline fruits, and a steaming liquid that smelled like spices and earth. She settled across from him, watching with undisguised fascination as he ate. You really speak English, Marcus said between bites. The food was strange but delicious, warming him from the inside. Some words, yes. A traveler came many seasons ago, before I was born. He taught the elders many things before the cold took him. Neve tilted her head. You look like the pictures in elders' books. Same face shape, same dark hair. But your eyes are different color. There was another human here? Long ago. He tried to leave, to return to his sky people, but his vessel was too broken. He lived with us for many cycles. Neve's expression softened. They say he was happy here, at the end. He took a mate from our people. Marcus set down his food, processing this information. A mate? You mean he married one of your people? Married? Neve tested the word. Is this your word for bonding? For choosing one above all others? Yes, exactly that. Then yes, married. Her name was Frost Singer. She still lives, very old now. She keeps his memory. Neve leaned forward, her pale eyes gleaming. Tell me, Marcus Firebringer, do all humans bond with only one? Or can you share affection with many? Most of us prefer one, Marcus said carefully, sensing dangerous cultural waters. We call it monogamy. Monogamy, Neve repeated, mangling the pronunciation. Sad, to limit heart to only one. But also ... she considered. ... romantic? Yes, romantic. Elder Frost uses this word in her stories. Before Marcus could respond, the curtain parted and Isla entered, followed by an ancient Silvari woman who leaned heavily on a staff carved from dark wood. Her silver skin had faded to pale white, and her eyes, though clouded with age, still held sharp intelligence. Marcus Webb, the old woman said, her English heavily accented but clear. I am Elder Frost, the one you call the other human. He was my bonded mate. My husband. Marcus stood immediately, respect straightening his spine despite his injuries. I'm honored to meet you, Elder. I'm sorry for your loss. Frost Singer smiled, expression both sad and warm. Do not be sorry. I had 50 good years with my Thomas. More than most receive. She moved closer, studying his face. You have his eyes, the same color of earth and growing things. It makes this old heart remember younger days. The elder came to assess our guest, Isla said, her tone carefully neutral. And the council wishes to meet him when he has rested. The council can wait, Elder Frost declared. Let me look at him first. She circled Marcus slowly, her clouded eyes somehow seeing everything. Strong, healthy, good bones. Yes, the young ones will fight over this one. Elder, please, Isla said, and Marcus caught something in her voice embarrassment. Possessiveness? Oh, stop your fussing, child. I speak only truth. Elder Frost turned to Marcus. Our people need new blood, young man. Our males are few, our children fewer each generation. You are what we call gift from stars. Your arrival is seen as great fortune. Marcus's mouth went dry. I'm not. I'm a pilot, a fighter. I need to repair my communication equipment and contact my fleet. I can't just what? Neve asked innocently. Stay? Bond? Make family? I have duties, Marcus said, looking desperately at Isla. She stood near the entrance, her expression unreadable. Responsibilities to my squadron. They're probably searching for me right now. And when they find you? Elder Frost asked gently. What then? You leave, return to your war among the stars, and we never see you again? She shook her head. Thomas tried that. Spent 2 years trying to repair his ship, trying to call his people. In the end, he chose to stay. He chose love over duty. That was his choice, Marcus said. I'm not him. No, Isla said quietly, finally speaking. You are not. She met his eyes across the fire, and something passed between them, a question, a challenge, a spark of something neither could name. But you are here now, under my protection. What happens beyond this moment? We will see. Elder Frost chuckled. Ah, young love. So stubborn, so blind. She patted Marcus's arm with surprising strength. Rest, Firebringer. Tomorrow, you face the council. They will have many questions, many tests. She moved toward the exit, then paused. And Marcus? My Thomas was stubborn too. Said he would never stay, never bond, never forget his duty. Yet he gave me 50 years of joy. Her smile was knowing. The heart wants what it wants, regardless of what the head declares. After the elder left, Neve bounced to her feet. I should go too. Give you both privacy for... She wiggled her eyebrows suggestively. ... Talking. Neve. Isla's voice was sharp, but her sister was already disappearing through the curtain. Her laughter trailing behind her. Silence settled over the dwelling, broken only by the crackle of the fire. Marcus and Isla stood on opposite sides of the flames, studying each other. Your sister is insufferable, Isla finished, but kind. She means well, even when she meddles. She moved closer, settling beside the fire. You must forgive the elders their enthusiasm. New males are precious to us. They see you as salvation, not as person with own desires. Marcus sat across from her, grateful to be off his feet. And what do you see? Isla was quiet for a long moment, her pale eyes reflecting the firelight. I see a warrior who fell from sky and lived, who made fire when others would surrender to cold, who speaks with courage even when afraid. She looked up, meeting his gaze. I see someone interesting, someone I wish to know better. Heat that had nothing to do with the fire spread through Marcus's chest. I find you interesting too. Terrifying, but interesting. Her lips curved. Terrifying? This is compliment among my people. It's complicated among mine. Then we must learn each other's complications. Isla reached into a pouch at her belt and pulled out a small device, Marcus's communicator. He realized with shock. I took this while you gathered supplies. I wanted to study it before bringing you here. You stole my equipment? Anger flared, but it was muted by exhaustion and the frank honesty in her expression. I protected my people, she corrected. I did not know if your device called for help or summoned weapons. Now I have seen it. I return it. She held it out to him. And I will help you repair it, if that is what you wish. Even if it means you leave. Marcus took the communicator, their fingers brushing. The contact sent an unexpected jolt through him. Her skin was warmer than he expected, almost feverish. Why would you help me leave? Because keeping someone against their will is cage, not courtship, Isla said simply. If you stay with Silvari, with me, it must be choice. Real choice. Marcus stared at this alien huntress who had rescued him, protected him, and now offered him freedom, even though it clearly cost her something to do so. In his world of military orders and rigid duty, such genuine respect for personal agency was rare. I don't know what I want, he admitted. 24 hours ago, my biggest concern was surviving an ambush. Now I'm on an ice planet with silver-skinned huntresses who apparently want to court me, and I don't even know if I'll survive the next storm. Then worry about surviving first, Isla said practically. Tomorrow, you meet council. They will have questions, tests. After, we work on your device together. She stood, moving to a large trunk against the wall. Tonight you rest here. She pulled out thick furs and blankets. You sleep by fire. I will sleep there. She gestured to a raised platform on the far side of the dwelling. This is your home, Marcus protested. I can't take your... You are guest. Guest sleeps warmest spot. Do not argue it, insults host. But there was warmth in her voice, not anger. As Marcus arranged the furs into a makeshift bed, Isla moved about the dwelling, banking the fire and preparing for sleep. He watched her move with economical grace, each gesture purposeful and controlled. When she finally settled onto her sleeping platform, wrapped in pale furs that made her silver skin glow, she caught him looking. Yes? She asked. Thank you, Marcus said, for saving my life, for bringing me here, for not throwing me to the wolves or whatever predators you have on this planet. We are the predators, Isla said with a slight smile. Nothing else hunts in our territory. She paused. You are welcome, Marcus Webb. Sleep now. Tomorrow brings its own challenges. Marcus lay down, exhaustion finally claiming him. But as he drifted toward sleep, his last conscious thought was of pale eyes watching him across flickering flames, and the strange flutter in his chest that had nothing to do with his injuries and everything to do with a silver-skinned huntress who'd given him both freedom and hope. Outside, the wind howled and snow began to fall, but inside Isla's dwelling, wrapped in alien furs beside a warm fire, Marcus felt safer than he had in years. And that, perhaps, was the most terrifying thing of all.